The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Tiara with us. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
It is called Sewing for the Soul. And Sewing for the Soul, it started about when the pandemic started. And I was a junior in high school. And my pageant advisor, Matilda Stevens, and my troop leaders from Pearl Street, they were like, well, you've learned how to sew when I was in second grade, because we have done sewing classes and we made dresses out of pillowcases for little girls that are in Kenya, in the country Kenya. And when they told me about that, they were like, they're just throwing ideas out there. And I was like, okay, well, what about t-shirt blankets? And that's when they're like, that's a good idea, to collect t-shirts from different people and make a t-shirt blanket out of it. And we were trying to figure out how will I promote that and, what audience I will be, doing it for. And we were doing a lot of research and we came across something about those who have dementia and Alzheimer's. It was one research that said there's certain things such as certain smells, certain music, different things of that nature that those who are, in memory care, that kind of brings back, or jogs their memory. I looked up the different memory care places that are in the state of Mississippi and they are in Hinds County. And there's one called Riggs Manor in Raymond, Mississippi. I contacted the supervisor that's over the memory care department, and they were saying, that was a great idea. So I collected their t-shirts from their loved ones. And when I say it was like one of the most special moments that I have ever done, mainly because when I started the t-shirt blankets and everything, it was a ride. I was basically sewing by hand. I didn't use an actual sewing machine. I was sewing by hand. I didn't have a sewing machine by that time. And so to learn, cut out the squares from the shirts and everything, I was like, all right, it's going to take some time, but I pushed through and it was worth it at the end. One of the patients, his wife, she sent me a letter and it just put tears in my eyes because it said, thank you so much, because I had one of his son's shirts on there and it had USM, University of Southern Mississippi mascot on there, which is the Golden Eagle. And she said that he remembered him playing football, and it was just a special moment. And each shirt that I had sewn onto the blanket had a story to tell. One of the patients, she had a lot of country club shirts that had them doing the dances and everything. And my mom and I were talking, and she was like, she must have done a lot of dancing back in the day. And it was a great project, mainly because I did it by hand, and to also find these stories from these people I was making these t-shirt blankets for.
I can't believe you made those by hand. I know how hard it is to make those blankets with a machine. What did you learn about yourself during the project?
When it comes to such a huge project, with a project like that, especially making these huge blankets, I realized that I can't procrastinate and I can't be lazy, especially when I make, something, such as, special as a t-shirt blankets for these family members. And when I say I worked all throughout the days and nights, I stayed up till 2:00, 3:00 in the morning, trying to sew those t-shirts on the blanket. And I learned that I can't be lazy or procrastinate, just be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But through all of that, I realized that this is something that is important, not just for me, but for those that I'm making it for. I realized that I'm doing a deed, and it's a deed that I think everybody should be able to do, something, learn a story from somebody that you haven't met before.
Who was on your team and how did you build your leadership skills?
The ladies at Pearl Street Church in Jackson, Mississippi, and they also helped out. They didn't make t-shirt blankets. They just made some quilts for the rest of the patients in Riggs Manor. I contacted each and all of them. I said, hey, I'm making 2 t-shirt blankets and I'd like for you all to make at least 4 for the other 4 patients that are in the memory care center. And when I say they did it, they did it. They're a sewing club at the church, and they taught me all, things I need to know about sewing from hand and, what all materials I needed. And so that they helped me out a whole lot. And also I had church members from my own church in Tiara, Mississippi to help out and donate materials that I needed to sew the blankets. My leadership skills, I gained that just by talking to other people who have sewn before, like I was saying earlier. And I learned that it takes patience when it comes to sewing, and not just with anything, patience with everything that I'm doing in life, especially with me being a student journalist at school. I have to learn patience.
What was your biggest challenge during your project and how did you overcome it?
Well, sewing by hand was the biggest challenge. It really was, mainly because when you sew by hand, you have the needle and then the eye of the needle. Some of them are really, really small, and it'll be hard. I wear glasses, so it was hard sometimes to put the thread through the eye of the needle. And then sometimes it would break while I was sewing and I would get so upset. But I still got the job done, but it was mainly just trying to sew by hand and getting stick by the needle and the thread breaking. That was the biggest challenge.
You mentioned being a student journalist. Can you tell us more about that?
I'm majoring in radio, television, broadcast production. And what we do, it's a career and technical field, and we are learning 25 different positions, in the field of journalism. And, we'll only be good at 5. That's what my instructor always said. We'll only be good at 5. And so we're learning editing, directing, audio technician, all of those things when it comes to being a multimedia journalist. And we have a news station down there, a anchor, a reporter. I also direct, write, and edit all the newscasts. And I also write, edit, and, report my own stories that I have going on that I see is happening around campus or also outside of campus. We covered the Mississippi State Fair back in October, and that was our special show. We run a newscast, and we do a lot of things, especially special elections that are happening in the Hinds County area. So that's what we specifically do, and that's what I do. And I'm also a freelance writer too as well. I published my first article back when I was in 10th grade. I can't think of the year, I just know the grade. But back when I was in 10th grade, and there was a natural hair expo, and that was with the Jackson Advocate. And now I'm with Mississippi Free Press. It is an all-woman-led newspaper organization, and it is the only one in the state of Mississippi. And so that has been great. My deputy editor, Asia, she's amazing. Donna Ladd, she is the owner and the CEO of Mississippi Free Press. So that's been amazing too as well. And I'm also working on my own little side projects and everything. And that's basically what I do.
How did you get involved in journalism?
I've been writing since I was since I was about 5 years old, making my own little stories and plays. I started off writing plays and short stories. In high school, I transitioned to poetry and writing articles. And that's how I ended up falling in love with journalism. I just always wanted to write. And a lot of growing up, people would call me Maggie Wade. She's a news anchor in the state. And I'll be like, hey, this is going on in our neighborhood. So, just being a little child, just thinking I was telling everybody's business or what was going on around the corner at the corner store. But that's how I ended up getting involved, because a lot of people are like, they'll call me Maggie Wade, one of the best journalists in the state of Mississippi. And I was like, well, I want to be a journalist one day. I want to report the news. And that's how I've just watching Maggie Wade and these other news anchors here in the state, and also just, seeing them on CNN and Fox. I always wanted to do that, but I mostly wanted to write, and I'm still going to write regardless if I do become a news anchor.
In addition to being involved in journalism, you have another public face as Miss Hinds. Can you tell us about that experience?
Miss Hinds Community College is a part of the Mississippi Corporation, which is a part of the Miss America organization. And I won that back in November. My platform is the Lupus Foundation. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that affects 1.4 million Americans, and it mostly affects women. And my platform throughout my reign as Miss Hinds, I have been promoting lupus. I've held a lupus walk. We also have an Instagram and Facebook page, and we also have a website called The Many Faces of Lupus. And that has been a real success, because a lot of people, especially here in Mississippi, don't know what is lupus. They don't know about the disease. And because lupus is an autoimmune disease that mimics different illnesses and symptoms such as eczema, arthritis, and is one of those silent diseases that you can go undiagnosed for a very long time. And what I'm doing is I'm telling people about it, and I'm also encouraging folks to get tested early on for lupus, because one of the ladies that I'm working with, she said that she feels like she had lupus since she was 8 years old, but she didn't get diagnosed until she was 18, which is 10 years later. So that is my platform. I am educating and promoting people on lupus and talking about the benefits of getting tested early on. And we're also trying to find a cure for lupus.
How did you get involved in the MAO organization? And what would you recommend for girls that are considering it?
I never would have thought I was going to be a part of the MAO. I did watch the Miss America pageant and the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants, but I would have never thought I would have been a part of, that prestigious organization. And it's a great organization because we have so many different workshops that they offer us, through Zoom, talking about being safe on social media, how to present your platform, so many things of that like that. And it really helps out a lot, because it helps me, understand how to be a title holder, just a local title holder. It doesn't matter if I'm Miss Mississippi or Miss America or not. As a title holder, I have to promote my platform, and I have to help out and serve my community. And that's what I've always wanted to do. And when I first won Miss Hinds Community College, I realized that it's really not about the crown and the sash. It's more so about serving your community and, the benefits of serving your community. And when I talk to these little girls, and it's not just little girls, it's everyone, to see the joy in their eyes whenever they see somebody like me come to them and present to their community, that makes me so happy, because they're seeing that they can do whatever, they can be whoever they want to be in life. And that is one of my main goals, to teach young people and to teach everyone that they can still be whoever they want to be in life. And to all the young girls that are looking into being a part of MAO, it is not too late. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be a doctor and also be a title holder at the same time. You can be in the Army and be a title holder. You can do whatever you want, because there's nobody stopping you but you. And I had to learn that myself.
The community service aspect of MAO and Girl Scouts are very similar. What other experiences have you had in Girl Scouts?
I was a camp counselor for a long time. I started off in the sixth grade when we were doing the junior. I can't remember the name of it because it's been such a long time ago. But I started off in the junior program, and we were learning how to work with the younger girls, and that's how I started. I've always wanted to be a camp counselor, and I got my 2 pins. Actually, I got 3 pins for going through the training program since 6th grade through my 10th grade year. And even though I'm not officially a camp counselor because it was just like a training program, I still can go back and go through it because being a camp counselor is one of the best things I could have ever done. You get to be on the inside instead of the outside whenever something's going on. And also, I remember we're in the South, so it's always raining and it's thundering and lightning. And it's like, dang, the girls can't swim because they always want to go swimming in the lake or in the pool. And it was this big old thunderstorm that was happening. And we were running around. We were at Camp Utica. And Camp Utica is a huge camp. And it's nothing but hills and slopes and a lot of tree barks up on the road. So we had to run through the woods, telling the girls, like, get out of your cabins. You need to go down to the pavilion. And that was like the best moments because it was like the thrill of it. There's always something going on as a camp counselor and just at camp in general. One of the girls, she had a snake in her room and she started screaming. And I said, I am not going in there. I am terrified of snakes. But it's so fun. And I remember when I was kayaking with one of the girls, she wanted to flip over the kayak. And she said, I want to be one with water. I said, no, honey, do not flip over the kayak. Like, yes, I can save you because I know how to swim, and I'm certified, but do not flip over the kayak. I am begging you not to. That's also another thing I have done being a Girl Scout, and I love it. I loved it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
It's not just being a woman or being a boy or a girl. Serve your community to the best of your ability. That's one of the main things I would say. I've always loved serving my community, and that's mainly through Girl Scouts. If it wasn't for Girl Scouts, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. I was taught to serve my community and to do whatever I can to help those around me. And I have carried that since I was a daisy, and now I've graduated high school. And I always tell people I'm still a Girl Scout. My troop leader, she got on to me one day when I said, oh my goodness, I used to be a Girl Scout. And she said, no, you will forever be a Girl Scout. To get my silver award and my gold award, those are like the 2 biggest achievements as well. And it's also not just Girl Scouts, it's Boy Scouts too as well. My brothers, they just earned their Eagle Scouts, and I've worked with Boy Scouts too. So I would say, if you're thinking about getting out of Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, stick to it. It will definitely benefit you the most. It is the best thing that could ever happen to you.
How do you make your s'mores?
When I was younger, I used to make s'mores like the regular way with just the marshmallows, and I had 2 chocolate, the Hershey bars on top of it, and then the granola bars. And I was just like roasted while they're on top of each other. But now I put the marshmallow, I let the marshmallow cook for a very long time because I like the smoky, taste to it. I like the smoky taste to it. And I just eat the marshmallow by itself.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Make sure to click follow or subscribe so you always know when new episodes are going to be released. And don't forget to power your passion and conquer your challenges.
The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions. Thank you for listening and spreading the word on what we do. If you want to share your story of how you earned your gold award, reach out and send an email to growandshare@outlook.com. Be sure to listen to the newest episodes on your favorite podcast app, as well as view the full video episodes on youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. That's youtube.com/Cheryl, the letter M, Robinson. Take care, and we'll see you next time.